Hi guys, this is lesson number 2, and I hope everybody's practicing at home with all the time that you have on your hands. We got some beautiful sunny weather for a change, and but we got to stay indoors if we can. And so anyway, I thought this morning I would do a few chord call outs. You play them, and then you see if it matches what I play. First chord I want you to play is an E7. I'm not going to show you. You got to figure it out yourself. Got it? Strum it. Okay, now strum along with me and see if they sound the same. Okay, so there's an E7. How about a D minor? All right, everybody, D minor. And remember, it's got to be in your head. You have to see the fingers on the notes in your head. Ready? Play it. Okay, now I'm going to play it. If what you have sounded like what I have, you're doing the right things. If not, I should have given you charts for everything that I'm telling you. If I don't, text me and let me know, and I will send you charts on that. How about an F? Let's play an F. Can you play an F? There are 2 ways to play it. You play it. Now I'll play it. I'll play it the first way to play it, which is you press those 2 fingers down. That one goes there, that one goes there. Or if you want, you can switch those up and they go like that. Or you can do it as a bar chord, which is this. Now, some of you have been working on bar chords. Some of you may not have, because we've had new people and people who've been missing. But a big part of what I want to teach you involves bar chords. That means you have to be able to play chords with this finger acting as if it were a capo that's holding down all the strings, and then you put your other fingers in other positions like that. Okay? The great thing about a bar chord is once you know how to do it in a particular position, you can play a whole bunch of chords. You know, if I tell you, okay, play a G, you know to play that or that. But if you know bar chords, you can go up to here and it's the same chord. It's a G chord. But if I say play a flat, the only thing you have to change is the position on the neck, and you keep all the fingers in the same position. Here's an A. Here's a B flat. Here's a B. Here's a C. There's a C. There's a C. So, once you learn that position and your fingers will go there, then a major chord, any major chord that I tell you, a C major or a whatever, you can play it just by holding that position and going to the right fret. Okay? So that brings up the issues of frets. And what are the notes on the fret? And I realized I've never really taught you guys anything about the notes per se on the guitar neck. And you need to learn that. So I'm going to be sending you, you should have received in an email by the time that you're watching this, a chart with frets. And hopefully the charts, I found a left-handed one, or excuse me, a right-handed one. And it's the perspective is looking from the top down. So when you look at that chart, it will show you the largest string first, which is the E string. The next note up on the E is an F. The next note up is an F sharp. The next note up is a G. The next note up is an A flat, then an A, then a B flat, then a B, then a C, then a D, then a C sharp, then a D, then an E flat, and an E. So that's an octave of notes. And the bottom is an E. When I go up to here where you have the double dots, that's an E, but it's an octave higher. Another place we have that same note is right here. So what happens on a guitar is you have strings of different keys. This is an E string. This is an A string. So it's A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D. And then when you get to that point on these strings, you have your D on the next string. So this is the E string, the A string, the D string. You do the same thing with the D string. D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, and then, oh, look at there. It's the same note. In fact, before guitar tuners, people used to tune their guitars by going and making sure that each string was in alignment with the other string in tune. Now the only thing that changes is when you get to the next string. So we'll go on the G string. You go G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and the next string is a B. So those two match up one fret shorter than the others. Whoops, that's not right. That's right. And then B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, and we have another E. A low E and a high E in pitch, that is. Now, you're saying, well, what does that really matter to me? It matters for a number of reasons. If any of you ever want to play lead guitar like that, you have to know all those notes. You have to know where you're going. Just like playing notes on the piano. If you've ever played the piano or another instrument, it's the same thing. I haven't bothered teaching you that because I wanted to get you the basic chords. I'm not sure, most of you or some of you may or may not want to play lead guitar. But it's still important for you to know what those notes are. If you're not going to ever play lead guitar and you don't want to get way up the neck, you may or may not. I mean, there's reasons to play up the neck playing chords, but we'll get to that much further on. When playing chords, if you know the notes that make up the chord, then you know that you can play that chord a whole lot of different ways. Now, what I've been teaching you are the standard ways to play chords, but there are many alternatives. For instance, you know that an A is that position, and because of the other notes that are on the guitar at the same time, you can play all 6 strings without any problem. However, if you wanted to play a B flat and you played the open strings, that doesn't sound very good. In fact, it sounds terrible, and it's not a B flat. So what you do is then you have to bar. The reason it's important to know the notes is because that tells you what the chords are. An A chord always has an A, And if it's an A major chord, like we just call them an A, anytime I just tell you a chord by its name and I don't give it any other ending to it, that's an A major or a major chord. It could be a G, G major, A major, D major. But we just call them A's, D's, or G's. Anyway, but what you need to know about any chord that's a major chord, it's got an A, a C sharp, and an E, which is either there or there, there. So they have the A, that's what's called the root of the chord. And so I can play those three notes right there, but I can also play them up here. Now I can't play all the other stuff because it doesn't match. So sometimes you have to play chords that are only 3 strings. That's called a triad for the 3 notes, 3 strings. Or maybe 3 strings with a 4th string that matches that particular musical scale. Now, knowing the notes, if you know what notes make up an A chord, then you can find those 3 notes all over the place. For instance. But the beauty of learning how to play bar chords is that you can play, you don't have to learn whole new fingerings, you just have to learn, it's basically the same figure as an open E chord. You don't play it with these 3 fingers, you play it with these 3 fingers, and then you put your own finger behind it, barring down all those strings, holding them down so that they ring out, and then you put your fingers in the position, in this case, of where an E chord would be. Only that's an F because we're up 1 fret. Everything is up 1 fret. So E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C, and so on. Now, I've told you that, but the same rules apply if you play a different position. Okay, so let's play the A. That's a B flat. That's a B. It's a C, C sharp, D, and so on. So you can use your barring finger and then put the same positions as you use for other chords all over the neck. I can even play a D position, but if I want to play it and move it up with a bar chord, I've got to move everything up. That happens to be a G there. So, if you guys can learn how to play bar chords, you can change keys of songs pretty easily. More importantly, there are songs that require bar chords. An F is sort of a modified bar chord, or you can play it as a full bar chord. But an F sharp, you can't play it like that. You got to play it like a bar chord. And we're working on a song that some of you have, some of you may not. So I'll find it and send it again, probably in today's email. And you can print them out for yourself. But it is the Lion and the Lamb. The Lion and the Lamb has what is actually an F sharp minor chord. So we play an E minor with those two notes. That's a little uncomfortable, so we use our pinky and our ring finger. You can also play an E minor that way, but we move everything up here and then bar it. And you have an E minor barred. Now, another chord in that song that is a bar chord that you cannot play correctly or make it sound the way it should sound, except by doing this. And I've sent you a chart for the B chord. I'm going to try and find an F sharp minor for you and another chord besides that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, this is a B chord. There's really no true way to play it here. I can play it that way, but it's a B7. And it's just not right. If you want to get all the notes and use all the guitar, you have two ways of playing a B chord. Put your finger there, and I've sent you both ways. Put your index finger there, middle finger there, ring finger there, baby finger there. So, that's pretty hard. Even I have to work at it, make sure that my hand is like a clamp to hold those strings down. One position that I find easier for that, there are two ways to play that, like that, with each finger on each string, or once you get used to doing this, and I told some of you about this already, you put your ring finger across 3 strings, and then you put the bar below it. And you really have to do this business with this finger. It has to be that way. Otherwise, you're not going to get enough pressure with this finger. It's going to feel really awkward at first. I understand that. The beauty of this is you can also move it and that position is used a lot in rock and roll. You might remember an old song that goes, anyway, that fingering is used. The Rolling Stones do that, Chuck Berry does that, so you remember all that old music. That's how you do that. I find that easy. I prefer to do that rather than this most of the time. This is my favorite. But, and I don't want to get too confusing here, but because I'm teaching you a lot, and I know that I'm teaching you some theory here. That's a major chord. If you remember the A major, it's like that. The A minor, the same notes except for this one goes down to there. Well, you can do the same thing with the bar chord. So that position it's like the same position as the E position. This is not an E, this is an F sharp, but these fingers are playing what would traditionally be an E position. But you move it over here, remember the A minor. But here when we bar it, we go up here, it's B minor. But if we go up here, that's a C sharp minor. Now if you can play that, you're coming along nicely. And that's a chord that we need for the song The Lion and the Lamb. 14 who likes the band Boston. Let's see, it goes... so that's a C sharp minor, as opposed to this, which is a C sharp major. Okay. Now, speaking of minors, and that's all I'm going to teach you about bar chords for today. If you have questions, text me, text the group text, and I will answer them. Last week I taught you about arpeggiating. So why don't we run through the changes to House of the Rising Sun, just as a little review. See if you can keep up with me, okay? And the chords are A minor, C, D, F, A minor, C, E, A minor, C, D, F, A minor, E7, A minor, that is, E7. All right. So I'm going to slow it down. I'm not going to play it that fast. But you try and play along with me at home, okay? Well, I hope you did good. You should, because you know all those chords and have been practicing those chords, or should have been, you should be able to keep up with me pretty easily. So if you're not, keep practicing those changes. Okay. Okay, for our next portion, I got us a new song. It's one you guys, I'm sure, have heard before. It's Days of Elijah. Maybe Ty hasn't heard it, or maybe Johnny hasn't heard it, but everybody else has heard it. And I sent an email copy, so you should print it out and have a copy to play along with. Mostly they're chords that we've done before, very easy. G, C, D, E minor. There's one chord that we may or may not have done. I don't think we have. And that's a B minor. So we're going to do B minor right here. Right, you know how an A minor goes, right? So like I was telling you earlier, you just slide that up. And it's a B minor. You got to bar it. Middle finger on the second string, 3rd fret. The other 2 fingers on the 4th fret, 4th and 5th strings. 3rd and 4th strings, sorry. 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th string. So it's the same as I showed you in the last section of the where you can play the B major, but we're taking that one note and moving it down, so that makes it a B minor. Anyway, this song has 2 verses and the chorus repeats, and then it has a bridge. A bridge is a section in a song where they kind of break things up and it goes to a different place before going back to the same format of the rest of the song. Some songs have bridges, most do not, probably. So anyway, get your music sheet out, see if you can play along. I'm going to play it at the speed that it's normally played, and then maybe I'll go through it one time slowly. But it's... the days of Elijah, declaring the word of the Lord. These are the days of your servant Moses, righteousness being restored. And though these are days of great trials, and famine and darkness and sorrow, stop right there. It says E minor on prepare. That is incorrect. That should be a G. Take your pen or pencil and change right above prepare to a G, not an E minor. So anyway, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion's hill salvation comes. So you noticed that on the halfway through the verse is the one place we hit the B minor. So we're going to do that again, second verse. And these are the days of Ezekiel, the dry bones becoming as flesh. And these are the days of your servant David, rebuilding the temple of praise. Here comes that B minor. And these are the days of the harvest, an E minor. The fields are as wide in the world, and we are the laborers in your vineyard, declaring the word of the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hill salvation comes. Okay, now here comes the bridge. It's kind of a repeating chorus. It's almost like a chant. There's no God like Jehovah. 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 Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet's call, Zion's hill salvation comes. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, rising like the sun. At the trumpet's blow, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hill salvation comes. notice on the chorus, got some quick changes. Behold, he comes. The G, D, G. That's good practice for you to go back and forth between those. Remember, lots of songs will require you to move quickly from chord to chord. That's one place where we do it. But you know those chords. You've known those chords for months. So it's G, D, G. All right. So I'm going to, let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go through it one more time slowly. And that bridge. It's got a different feel. It's like a calypso feel, a rumba feel. So that's different. The rest of the song is a little more straightforward. Okay, so I'll do it a little slower. I may not do the whole thing because it's a lot of singing, and I'm still operating on lungs that aren't great. So the intros. And you'll see me muting with my hand like that. That's just something I do. You don't have to do that. If you want to do that, I kind of mute the strings, but it's not necessary. Yeah, that intro's wrong. The intro's wrong. Don't worry about the intro. These are the days of Elijah C. Declaring the... I gotta slow it down for you guys, I'm sorry. Alright. These are G. These are the days of Elijah. D, G, declaring the word of the Lord. And these are the days of your servant Moses, righteousness being restored. Okay, here comes the B minor. And though these are days of great trials, the E minor, of famine and darkness and sorrow, still we are the voice in the desert, crying, prepare the way of the Lord. Now let's take that chorus real slow. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun, at the trumpet call. Lift your voice, it's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion's hill salvation comes. And these are the days of Ezekiel, the dry bones becoming as flesh. And these are the days of your servant David, rebuilding the temple of praise. And these are the days of the harvest. Sorry. The fields are as white in the world, and we are the laborers in your vineyard, declaring the word of the Lord. clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion's hill salvation comes. Here's the bridge. There's no God like Jehovah. 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 Behold, he comes, shining on the star, riding on the moon. At the trumpet call, so lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion's hill salvation comes. Okay, Martine and Rocio, you heard me teach that to Johnny in Mexico when we were down there. What else? Don't want to cover too much else because I got to get this uploaded and I don't want to run out of time. It's slow as it is. I did want to say that I included in there the chords to Lion and the Lamb. Hang on. You should all have music for the Lion and the Lamb. And the chords that are in here that you don't know or maybe have been practicing but can't do very well yet are the F sharp minor, which I gave you a chord sheet showing you the fingering. That comes fast. And also the B. And again, I prefer the B stretching the whole finger across, but you can also play it like that. And the other chord, which I have not shown you up to this point, is the C sharp minor. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 frets up, barred. Then you make the notes for a minor chord. It's like the B minor we were playing on Days of Elijah, just up 2 frets. And to make sure that you have it fingered properly, take each note and let them ring like that so that you get a nice, clean sound. If it's something like that, then you got to get your fingers right. So the Lion and the Lamb starts out with the E. 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's E, 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 F sharp, A. And both Johnny and Martine told me they were struggling with that a bit. Just keep playing it. We'll work on it however long it takes to get this right. He's coming on the clouds. Kings and kingdoms will bow down. Then it goes up to the C minor. And every knee chain will break. Every broken heart's declared. That doesn't sound right. Every chain will break as broken hearts declare His praise. So you go C sharp minor, B, to the A. Who can stop? Back to the B. Lord Almighty, our God is the Lion, the Lion. Oops, sorry, I should have gone to the B there. The Lion of Judah, to the C sharp minor. In this case, it says C sharp minor 7th, which simply means that you would play it like that instead of this. But I would just play the regular minor at this point. I don't want to make it more complex than it needs to be. That will not change the overall effect of the song. And every chain will break, C sharp minor. Broken hearts be free. Hey, oh, who can stop the beat? Lord Almighty, our God is the Lion, to the B, the Lion of the C sharp minor. Ruling with power, to the B, fighting our battles, and he will bow before him. Okay, so just work on that. Work on the F sharp minor chord, the B chord, and the C sharp minor chord. So I hope you guys are practicing. I sent out an email, and I know at least one of you responded to me and said yes, they were going to try and play along last Sunday. I'll try and get Ryan to send me the music again ahead of time, and I realize the songs are fast. By the way, one of you that didn't want to play along, you're capable of playing along, and you know who you are. There were songs on there that I know that you could play along with. So give it a shot. You know, your family's not going to make a big deal about it. If you try and it doesn't sound great, well, at least you tried. I'll try and send the music to you, and you guys can play along. I don't know what the songs are going to be. If they're too difficult, I will tell you. Miss seeing you guys face to face, and I hope you're practicing, and I hope you're keeping safe.